All right. So welcome to our team call. This is going to just be nice and short. This is just an exercise. So I don't know. I feel like you guys are all doing a lot better at this than me, but um, you ever get like a writer's block when you're posting and writing posts? And for me, if I don't like the post, I don't post it. So like if I could write for like forever and have like this really well crafted something, but if I'm staring at it and I'm like, this is just not this, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the energy or the vibes. I choose not to post it. Now that being said, I have noticed in my business that my business does better when I am posting something every day. So I story every day no matter what. And like that's a given. And if there's days that I miss a post, then I know that at least they see my bubble and that I'm showing up. And a lot of people on Instagram are watching the stories versus reading the post anyway. However, I just personally have noticed, and maybe you guys have too, that my engagement is higher when I'm posting every day as well as storying. So they're important. And the stories is the posts are kind of how you add value, and the stories are kind of where they get to know you. Like you're still adding value in your stories, but the post is kind of where you're at. So I don't know if any of you guys listened to that training that Keisha did recently. I posted it in our team page, but her guest speaker is not a Beachbody coach. She's actually just like a entrepreneur boss who has built her own, I think she actually has her own fitnessy stuff going down. But she's basically an Instagram guru, and what she does is she goes in and she like tears people's Instagrams apart, and like fixes them. And so one thing that she suggested was, she's like, stop making your Instagram about you and make it about the person you're serving. And she's like, it starts with your profile. So she's like, if somebody goes to your profile and it's like mom of 5, CrossFitter, you know how we do the bullet lists about ourselves? She's like, that's just telling me about you. And I want to know how you're going to serve me. When I'm there, I want to know how you're going to serve me. And so she suggests that you shift it, not use the word Beachbody, not use, the company name and that kind of thing, but instead shift it to, I help moms XYZ. You know what I mean? Like really kind of think about who you are talking to. If somebody was coming to your page, why do you want them to stay there? What kind of value do you serve using your Instagram? And so when I was listening to that, I just started like kind of scribbling down, what is my point on Instagram? What am I doing there? Obviously I'm building a team, and I am building, trying to reach out to boot campers, helping people with their health and fitness. And so it's like, it's kind of figuring out how to word that. And I can't remember, mine's not, I just like picked, my recent, I keep changing this, but I just said, I'm here to help you find the motivation and use simple tools to show up for your fitness, your side hustle, and your life. So that is what I switched it over to, versus mom of 4, self-love, blah, blah, and if it is like, you could easily be like, I'm here to help women love themselves, period. Like, or something like, what is your voice on Instagram, and what do you want? How do you want to help that person? And so look at your profile, because in all honesty, when they're seeing you liking and commenting on their stuff and friend requesting and all those kinds of things, they're going to go to that, and they don't want it to be about you. They want it to be about how you're going to help them and add value to them. So there's that. Like, that's just her spill. She goes into it way in depth. In fact, she goes to Beachbody coaches' profiles that are on that call, and she like picks them apart. She also suggested, like, if you're coaching mostly for building the team, that you gear it towards that, versus if you are right now gearing towards the health and fitness side of it. And she's like, I don't know if you should do both, but like 80-20 kind of it. So like whichever one you're most passionate about right now or working on right now, and that could shift like in 6 months or, in next week or whatever. So throwing that out there. Okay. So then when it comes to before we start crafting posts, we have to know who we're talking to. So if you take a piece of paper and you just put a line down the middle of it, and on one side, just put pain points, and as quickly as you can, just write down reason, like pain points that people would have on why they need to change, why their habits need to change, and think about your own pain points. Like what made you feel like you needed to shift? Does that make sense? So like for me, mine definitely was baby weight. That was a huge pain point for me. Energy with my kids was a huge pain point. Loneliness, you know, just think of different, but try to write down as many as you can and make them, this part, it's like, it is about them, but it's about you, because this is who you're going to relate to, is somebody who has similar pain points as you. And if you think about why you are building a business, you know, think about financial pain points. Think about, you know, for me, you guys, like, I never want a job outside my house. I just don't. I never have. I never will. I don't have that could change. I shouldn't say I never will. That could change. People change. But I like seriously just don't have the energy for it. Like, I'm too tired at like 10 a.m. When I was like working before I came home for good. I was like, oh yeah, I think this is not the life for me. Anyway, that's a pain point to me. So just take a quick second and just think about your person. Like, what are they going through? And it doesn't even have to be necessarily health and fitness related. What are they going through in their marriage? What does their raising their kids look like right now? What does finding a job right now look like? What is stressing them out? And then on the other side, it's kind of the celebration, I would say. There might be better words to use right there, but basically your victories. What's the solution to those pain points? Maybe that's a better word, like celebration or solution that you personally have found. And they don't have to match necessarily. It's just kind of like, what are some of your victories since you've started this that has, you know, helped you in some of those pain points? Big and small. And honestly, like one of mine for sure is friendship. Like I feel like I have such good friends, but so many other ones. Okay, keep going. I'm gonna mute myself because I have to tell my 4-year-old where I am and that she's just fine. Okay, so if you look at your two lists, you have this would be a very good material for crafting some sort of post, because the idea is to emotionally connect with the people that you are attracting, that you are talking to, that you could help. Like this, I know what this feels like, and this is what I have done to help me get through that, or to find something, or to do something. And so this just helps you understand your avatar, like your person that you're connecting to, and then how you can help them. And the idea is and then shifting it so that you really are talking to them. Like you're giving them a bit of your story. You have to be really quiet, okay? You're giving them a bit of your story, but you're doing it in a way that's supposed to be, I understand where you're at. If this is where you're at, I understand you, I get you, I've been there, and this is how I can help you get out of that. And so as soon as you shift it from, yeah, I needed to lose 5 pounds and I did, check it out, to I know what it's like to not be able to get out of bed, to push play, I've been there and that battle, and it just took some consistency, and just like talk to them like you're sharing with them something. And it's like, if you can emotionally connect with them, that's where the sale is. That's where they are going to start trusting you and want you to help them. There's a million trillion health and fitness and weight loss solutions on social media. A million trillion. There's a lot of Beachbody coaches. There's a lot of other kinds of coaches. And so they will not want to buy your product for the product. They want to know that you know the struggle and that you can help them through the struggle. Does that make sense? And so that's how you kind of craft your post. And then when you are writing your post, she shared this formula. So once again, this is like from that training from Keisha, which definitely watch in full. But she shared like a little bit of a formula, and that is, as you're going through your life, your daily life, kind of think of a way that you can journal that by sharing a piece of that, a little piece of that life, and kind of being like, taking the narrative to, this is what I'm going through and this is how I'm making this work. Like, and the positive spin. So like the bad days, the good days, the hot mess days, the celebration days, and kind of bringing them in, but then also, like I said, making it about them. So you're sharing a piece of you, but then you're also adding some sort of value to them, and you're extending that connection. I know I'm being kind of vague. It takes practice, really, is what it comes down to. And once you have your post crafted, the real meat, the clincher, the attention catcher, the whatever, once you've crafted a post, take that out of it and stick it in the first line. So people like images on Instagram. It takes a whole lot for them to stop and read what you're saying. A lot. And so whatever that first line is important. So it could be something as simple as like, I just thought Lauren Brzezinski just did a post that was so good. And her first line was like, I had no idea, period. And then she went on to like, I had no idea that saying yes 4 years ago to a home fitness program would open a door for me to what did she say? Something like, to figure out who I was again, like to find myself again. I mean, just little things like that. But it starts with just a tiny bit of a, what is she talking about? Like, what is she talking about? And just some sort of clincher. Stacey, I feel like you're really good at this, and why I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Does anyone have examples? I'm looking at posts right now to find one. So sometimes I start off mine with, oh, I get it, period. Like, don't think I don't know the struggle. Oh, I get it, 4 kids home for the summer and we're driving everywhere and blah, blah, blah. I get the struggle, you guys. You know what I mean? And instant, it's like getting on here and instant Stacey was like, oh no, I know, my kids too, and they're not even school age yet. Like, you can do this so organically, Susie?
One of a speaking trick, and it sometimes works in writing, is to engage by starting with a question.
Yes.
And it can be a question you're asking yourself or outside. Am I enough? Or are you happy? Are you excited about life? Because all of a sudden you've put it on them. Like, oh, I don't know. What's the answer?
I love that. A question. That was, so I had one that was like, did summer hit you like a bucket of bricks too? Question mark. And it's like, just relatable. I love the am I enough? That's really good. Yeah, Susie's like a public speaker, you know, like she gives sermons. Like we need like a speech writing class from you. Um, and like, so, and also if you're sharing like somebody else's transformation, you can be like, could you just take a second and like, let's celebrate this person. I think when I shared Stacy's, which was amazing, I was like, can we just take a minute and call the power of consistency over time what it really is? Freaking amazing. And like just something where it's like that's the meat of it. It's not, hey, this is where we're at and what we're doing, but you're just like, yeah, you're inviting them to keep reading is kind of the idea. Anyway, children. And that's
Can I
oh yeah, go Susie, go for it. Any wisdom, guys? This is the time.
I wanted to that's something that's been, if you've watched like some other coaches, they do a lot of team shout outs, whether it's a team connection, we're drinking our water, or like I am accountable to these ladies to do my workout. Stacy, you're pretty good at that, especially with shout out to praise and transformations I've noticed. But I think we all could improve tagging each other, and it becomes almost like a tag war, like, oh, I saw you work out, so I had to go work out. And that helps build up the teamwork, the friendship. I think that we could all do a little extra. And I think that does entice people like, well, wow, I could make friends from my house, because a lot of people are dealing with social anxiety or with being social media. I don't know my neighbors' names. Like I kind of know them. But where I grew up, like my parents knew their phone numbers, knew how many children, knew where they were going to be work. And we've gotten away from that. So I think when we can do team shout outs to each other and celebrate the victories, or even like, and your wacky workout post, I think was great. Not workout, the shake today, Stacy, like, yeah. Coaches, you need to get on.
Because that was the whole point too, because I wanted to just have us share in our stories. But I totally forgot. it. So I'm doing tomorrow.
That's really funny that you forgot.
I've had the worst mom brain this week.
I also really liked the way you worded your post today, and I did like that you extended that invite to the coaches. And I notice it too when people are shouting out each other, and that's also like it creates that FOMO that we talk about. And when people are watching your stories, you know, it's not necessarily saying this is exactly what I'm doing. It's more like, this is so fun. You should want to know what I'm doing. You should want to know what this is. Like spark that curiosity. And I do think that shout outs are so good. That's why I love like when you're scrolling through. I wish more of our challengers shared pictures, because a lot of them just type. And so that's something I'm going to try to encourage, I think, for July's group especially. Like, let's just always share pictures, you know.
You can't get your point unless there's a picture.
Yes. No, but really, because I feel like there's such value in seeing their faces. And then it also helps stir that FOMO when you're like scrolling through and looking at it, or sharing. Yeah, like I love sharing your guys' workouts, and I need to be better at that. And I feel like that's why it's one of the vital behaviors. And I used to think it was like you just needed to be shouting out somebody on your team, like, oh, recognition, you're recognizing someone on your team. But in all actuality, it's just any kind of recognition to a challenger, to each other, like sharing each other's posts, sharing, you know, like it's creating that community that people really want to see. And so I need to get better at doing that. And sometimes our challengers, like sometimes I share posts from people who are in our boot camp who aren't coaches at all or anything, but they just put something really awesome in their feed. And I'm like, I'm sharing that, you know, because it just it just shows them, you know, like you can do this, you can. And so that's kind of where I'm at. That was like kind of the meat of everything. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Stacy, did you have something?
Yeah, just going along with the FOMO. I've seen some teams like have Fun Friday, and every Friday they're like, all of their coaches tag each other in like a silly lip sync or something while they're like, you know, getting ready for their workout, shaking up their Energize or whatever. And I think if we could do something like that as a team, that it's like consistent every week, then it would bring in more FOMO that like these girls have fun and they're just doing this virtually. They don't live by each other. Like this is something that could really attract me because like they're having fun and they're just, you know, like being silly. And I don't know. I just like that idea.
I do too. I really like that. So maybe that's something that we can start doing in our team page. Like have some sort of like a fun Friday. And we can put that in our boot camp, like a little on the Friday post, like a little reminder, like don't forget it's Fun Friday, coaches, like tag each other or something, you know, like because ideally, I feel like for me anyway, it's easier for me to get people on board with their health and fitness and join a boot camp than it is to see the vision of the business. And so it's like even within our boot camps, we want to create that FOMO. And we're like pretty approachable in there. Like we're pretty real and that kind of thing. So I feel like they get to know us, but then it's also like, you guys, like there's this whole other thing that we do, you know, like we really get to know each other.
Well, and our challengers, a lot of them are watching our stories. So they're going to recognize each other's faces and they're going to be like, I could totally join in this. I know these girls. I feel comfortable.
Yes. Yes, that is so true. It's funny because yesterday I posted like that I was so off on my nutrition and I was like, is anybody else feeling that? And I had like a ton of responses and it was like all of our challengers and they all are saying yes. And I was like, oh man. It was just funny because I was like, okay. So that was good though to know because then I got on my Marco Polos and I was like, you guys, like we can do this. Because I can't say that on my story and be like, well, I have the solution. It's a boot camp when like all my boot campers are apparently struggling. So anyway, it was just funny. I was like, okay, note taken. But still it is like that sense of having fun, I think. For sure. And I get FOMO sometimes watching other teams. Like, so I might come upon somebody's story and I'm like, okay, that looks really fun, you know? And I don't get FOMO like, oh, I wish I would have joined a different team, but more like, I think our team could do that too if we just like somebody just so there's that.
I'm totally having that with summit photos. Like previous summit photos and everyone's like sharing them right now like this is coming up. I'm like I'm gonna get my pictures but I want them now.
That's what I keep thinking of that too. So yes, for sure summit pictures. We're gonna have to like crop in like Susie and Lindsay and Chris. Are you coming to summit? No? Okay, so we're gonna need to crop you guys in. But yes, we can, like, pictures are where it's at. I'm telling you what. And like that creates a lot of FOMO. I get a lot of FOMO from like different things. But like even when you are able to like travel and have like Susie, you do a lot of road trips. Like even the freedom of like knowing what you're going to eat when you're traveling and being able to spend that time, you know, serving, you know, the way that you serve and that kind of stuff. Like that is, people want that. Like people want the freedom to be able to do that, the confidence to do that, the, you know, the tools to do that and that kind of thing. So that's the other thing is when you guys are storying, there have been so many times I've taken a story and then I'm like, I sound dead to the world. So then I delete it. I mean, not always because I'm not a perfectionist and I try really hard not to like take a million takes. But sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, you're dead to the world. Who would ever want to join you? And so I'll go and like do some jumping jacks or, you know, run up my stairs or chug some Energize, you know, like something and then get back on and be like, dudes, like this is, you know, because the energy also creates that. And when I think about where I was at before Beachbody, like I really wanted to lose the weight. That was the reason I reached out to my coach. But I found personally like this whole other side to myself that had nothing to do with weight. That was like, I was having fun during my day. I was having you know, like little spouts of energy and moments where I'm like, I made it through the day and I wasn't even like tired like I used to be. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean we don't have bad days and stuff like that. Like those still happen. I'm just saying that kind of thing needs to be shared because that also creates FOMO. They want a life that they can feel happy about. And I think a lot of times we're not at the level of the bottom where you like have to have change, where you know when you hit the low point and you're like, I must change, but we're settling for like okay-ish, okay, you know, instead of better. And it's like until you taste that or see somebody living that way, you don't realize it. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of thing too. But being like authentic too. Like, come on.
One of my daily affirmations is about that because I used to struggle with my life is so boring. I'm home all day. I live in a small house. I have 2 little kids. Like I don't have things to be excited about to share. And then I was told by a mentor, he said, you don't need to live an exciting life. You get to choose to be excited about your life. So every time I get on my stories, I think about that and how I can show my excitement for the life I'm living. And it doesn't matter if it's laundry, if it's changing diapers, like just share that energy and that excitement. And then people are going to attract you because they're home thinking, I live a boring life. All I do is change diapers and wash dishes and do laundry. And then they see you doing the same thing, but you're happy about it. Like they're going to want to know what you're drinking, you know, like what's up with her? Why is she different?
Well, and that's like, that was a really good example too of different pain points that people have and the solution, you know? And so it's like, I can just see a post that's like, you know, my life was boring, or like I was choosing to let my life be boring, or, you know, are you bored with your life or something, you know, those are, you know, I'm not a public speaker, but you know what I mean? So, I really like that, Stacey. I like that a lot because I hear people saying like you need to share bits and pieces of your life, and I'm like, some days I'm like, my life was stupid today. Like this was just a mundane, like whatever kind of day. And the truth is because I chose to let it be that way. I mean, really, truly, like the same actions could happen, but you could be totally different about it. You know what I mean? And so, I appreciate that. You always have like the best little nuggets, Stacey.
So I have a couple things I want to first to jump off what you just said, Amber. So in a lot of my sermons, what people really connect to is the everyday. One of my biggest, where people came back with so much feedback, is I had talked about how I had lost my keys right before service and how we had looked all over the house for them and they were in my shirt pocket. And like everyone came up and they're like, I do that all the time. And like, that's such a great connector if you can find the story or the flip the switch moment to it. Mm-hmm. The other thing is I love Fun Friday because it's really generic in a way. So it can be anything. Like if we're doing a big weekend trip, or it's like, I'm getting in my workout now, so my weekend is set. Like that I will have the energy. I also thought maximize Monday, because I feel like that hits 2 really big points of our group, is that we're looking for the fun in this health journey and that we're also looking to set ourselves up. And like, whether it be motivation, we put up a good quote to each other, or like, I'm prepping my veggies right now, or I'm doing my morning routine. And that's 2 things I think a lot of people are also connect to, is fun, doing the FOMO, but also like, give me the tips. How do you set yourself up for success? Mm-hmm. And then that gives us 2 really good weak points to connect as a team, but doing whatever that means to us.
I actually really like that. So it's like we're helping each other and cheering each other on. It also adds value to the people who are following us. Like, okay, she's setting herself up with her mindset or with her food prep or with whatever. I like that a lot. I love it, actually. I wrote it down. Which doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does mean that it's written down. So I like it. No, I'm teasing mostly, but I think that's really fun.
I like that too. And I guess because my brain is all about growing my team. I'm thinking like setting up our week for success, like planning out your week, scheduling in your personal development, your corporate calls, your like all of the things that we do as coaches and as challengers, so that they can see both sides of the coin.
Which I really like, because I do feel like they need to see, there's two reasons why it's important for someone to see what you do as a coach. And one is so that they see that it is doable. They see like it is just action steps, you know, and two, to see that you do have to show up and work, because, you know, you don't want somebody to join assuming that it's just you join and it's easy, you know, like this, it is simple, but it's not easy, and you have to be consistent. It's like identical to exercise, actually, is building this business. And so it's really, I love that idea of showing them, being like, okay, I just set up. And if you notice, like a lot of, I feel like Melanie Mitchell's really good at this. She's one that I purposely can't follow very often. So, I mean, I don't follow her, but sometimes I go and like look at what she's doing. Because she's offering value to entrepreneurs, you know, like, okay, if you're building a business, these are my tips. And I do feel like if you're trying to attract business builders, which all of us are, then we need to be showing them that, one, we're doing it, and two, like, this is how we're doing it. And then kind of like, and giving those nuggets. So I actually really like that. And then like we have fun with it, you know? And sometimes like I do love, and that could still include like meal prepping, because that's part of our job, you know? And like it can encompass anything. It could be anything. So let's start doing that. And then it's like, if we're tagging each other or using our hashtag, like life on fire, team life on fire or something, it'll be more fun for us too. Like I'll be more like, I need to stick something up because so-and-so just tagged me, and you know what I mean? Like that's how I work. I'm all about accountability. The more the better. The more the better. And I actually was listening to a podcast today, and they were saying that you can have the steps, you can know exactly what you're going to do, and you can be showing up for it. But unless you are surrounded by a team of people who are holding you accountable and working towards this, like being supportive of what you're doing, even if they're not necessarily doing the same thing as you, but if you're around people who are supportive of that, like that's the magic, like the pixie dust that sprinkles. So it's like, we have the tools, we have this stuff, and now like we just need to utilize each other more, you know, like we have our team calls. And some weeks I'm like, I don't have anything of value to add, but I'm like, no, we still need a team call because we need this. We need like face-to-face interaction. And so it's like, even if it's just rambling, like at least it's something, you know? And so I love the idea of having something twice a week like that. A Monday, something Monday, the Maximize Monday, and like the Fun Friday. And we can just, we can come up with the fun hashtag. It could be our team, like hashtag Team Life on Fire takes on Monday, or like whatever. But something, and then just have a lot of fun with it. So that is something I thought a lot about. I feel like this team needs, we need more team, you know, and that starts with us. We're the core of this team. So we are the leaders of this team. So, okay, I'm going to end this recording. So